Hello everyone, this is Anis with you. Welcome to my channel. In this ASP.NET Core tutorial, we will see what are view components in ASP.NET Core. View components are similar to partial views, but they are much more powerful than the partial views. Normally, partial views contains a template of HTML code with model binding and as an extension of .cshtml. But view components will have multiple files packaged inside a directory, and view components will have at least one view file which will have the HTML code, and it will have one class file which will have the logics to render the view. View components means views plus logic. The term components indicates that it can be compiled and kept as a separate library, and you can share your view components among many projects. Let's see the view components in action. First and foremost, we will see the demo of the application which we are going to create in this ASP.NET Core tutorial. In this application, I have used view components to upload the images. Let's enter the required details to create a product. After that, we need to upload two images, one for the front view of the product and the other for the back view of the product. In this application, front view image is mandatory and the back view image is optional. After uploading the images, it is showing the selected image file name in the respective text boxes, and also it shows the sizes of the images. Let's click the create button. The product details with the images are stored. That's great. Let's create few more products. Now we have created 4 products and all the products got saved successfully with the images. Let's create the application from the scratch. Before I start, I would appreciate if you would like and subscribe to this channel so that you will be notified for all of the new videos that I will be posting. I am taking lot of efforts and spending lot of time to make all these videos. In return, I request you to subscribe to this channel. So please subscribe and share this video. Thank you. Okay, let's continue the video now. This time I don't want to create a fresh project from scratch. Instead, I'm going to use my DBFast CRUD project. In DBFast CRUD project, we were only working on the customers table, but that database has two more tables, namely category and products. We will be using the products table for this video. In case if you have not watched my DBFast CRUD video, I request you to watch it once. The video URL is available in the description of this video. But if you only want to learn view components and not interested to watch a CRUD video, no worries, this video has no relation with that video. Let's start creating the view components. Let's expand the models folder and find the product model. We are going to have two image columns in our product table, and these images will be uploaded by the user using the HTML file upload. Now add a property named front image of type iForm file. After adding, it is showing red error indicator line. Just click and include the ASP.NET Core.html library in the using section. Then the error disappears. Here we are using an interface of iForm file for the front image property, because if you want to receive the file from the browser file upload, then you have to use iForm file only in ASP.NET and ASP.NET Core MVC as well. Notice I have added a data annotation of type not mapped to the head of the front image property. This is very important line. Please listen carefully and understand it. When you use the not mapped annotation to a property, then EF Core will ignore that field and this property will not be added to the database table. I am using this not mapped annotation here because I don't want to save the image as byte array in my table. Instead, I want all the uploaded images to be stored in the images directory of this application inside the www root folder, and only the file name will be stored in the products table image URL column. The image URL column is of type string. And then add the required and display annotations to the front image property as shown. Then let's run a migration command and we will cross check the not mapped annotation duty. In the package manager console, type add migration with the command added front image. Then run update-database. Now the migration is success. Let's check the migration scripts created by the EFCore tools for us. Notice both up and down commands of the migration script are empty. We will also verify it by exploring the database in the SQL Server Management Studio. We are sure that front image column is not added to the table. It is only the model. EFCore is great, but some of the programmers are not happy with it. But I am a big fan of Entity Framework Core from the beginning. Then the products table has 67 records, but our scope of this video is to learn view component. So we will delete all the rows and add the products through our application. Create a folder inside the views folder and name it as product. We will keep all the product related view files inside this folder. First and foremost, create a view and name it as index. This index view will be the listing page for the products. So set the template as list and then set the model class as product and then data context class as dbFirstCrud context. Then create a view and name it as create. This create view will be the create page for our products. So set the template as create and then set the model class as product and then set the data context class as dbFirstCrud context. Since we are going to upload an image file through the create.cshtml, we have to do an important change. Please watch it carefully. In the form tag, include encryption type equals to multipart/form-data. This is very important line. If you don't add this line, then the form will not post the uploaded file to the web server. So don't forget to add this line. Delete the form group div for image URL. This is added by the default scaffolded task. Instead, add the HTML file upload control to the form as shown. Make sure you add the bootstrap class custom-file-input for the file input control. Next step is to create a controller. So create an empty controller and name it as product controller. Include the dbFirstCrud.data namespace in the using section. Declare a private read-only variable of type dbFirstCrudContext and name it as _context. Add the constructor method with a parameter of type dbFirstCrudContext with the name as context. Then after, assign that context parameter value to the read-only variable _context. Include the dbFirstCrud.models namespace in the using section. Then in the index method of the controller, declare a generic list of type product and fetch all the products from the database and assign to this list. Then pass this list with the view to the index.cshtml. Then add the create method. In here we are creating an empty product and sending that product to the create.cshtml for the user to enter the product details. Then go to the layouts.cshtml and create a menu for accessing the products. We first copy the menu of the customer and paste it below. Then replace the word customer with product for the pasted menu. That's it. Save and run the application. Now we are able to navigate the products by clicking the product menu. So far so good. Let's click the create new link and then click the browse button. It shows the file dialog control from which we can select the image files. After selecting the image file, I want to show the preview of the image and the name of the image file. To show the name of the image file, we need to add this jQuery function. This function is attached to the change event of the custom file input class. Let's click the browse button again. Now it is showing the selected file name in the respective text box. Then add a image control and give the ID as front image PRV. This image control we will use it to preview the selected image file. Then add a single line JavaScript in the onChange event of the file input control. As shown, this JavaScript will show the preview of the selected file in the front image preview image control. This is very important script because this JavaScript loads the image from the memory. Now click the browse button and select the image. This time the preview of the selected image is loaded to the front image preview control. And then go to the product controller and include two more namespaces in the using section. The namespaces are system.io and microsoft.aspnetcore.hosting. And then declare a private read-only variable of type iWebhost environment and name the variable as webhost environment. Then in the constructor include the iWebhost environment and name it as webhost. Assign the webhost value to the private variable webhost environment. Then add a method named uploaded file. This method will extract the uploaded file from the front image property of the product model, and then this method creates the file with the unique name in the images folder inside the www root folder, and then it returns the unique file name. Then we need to write a method to fill the categories because the category select list is showing empty and we cannot save a product without selecting a category. Add a method named getCategories. This method fetches the categories from the categories table of the database and fills the select list with category ID and description. Then this method returns the category select list. In the HTTP create method, call the getCategories method and store the categories select list in the viewback.category. Now let's check the product creation page. The category select list is filled with the categories now. Then add the HTTP post create method. This method will retrieve the model submitted by the product creation page and saves the entered product details to the products table of the database. Let's enter the product details and select the product image, then click the create button. The product is saved to the database and the product image file is also created in the images folder inside the www root. Let's add one more product. This time I have selected pink t-shirt. This also saved successfully. That's great. To display the image in the listing page, we need to slightly modify the index.cshtml inside the product folder. First, we need to delete the image URL heading and insert an empty th tag at the front. Then cut the item.image URL and insert at the first place of the row, and then insert the image tag to display the image. Let's run the application. Oh, the images are very big. Let's set the width and height for the image tag as 75px. Save and run the application again. Now the image is displayed properly. Let's beautify the buttons by adding the bootstrap classes as shown and run the application. Now the listing page looks much better. Then I also modified the create.cshtml to look better. At first I have added a bootstrap cart class and nested the whole content inside it. Then after I added a bootstrap cart body class. I have nested the form inside this body class. Then added a bootstrap class row. This is very important because inside this row I have created div for all the controls with bootstrap class call -md-6 so that all the controls are aligned as columns and rows. Kindly pause the video and copy the code. Let's create the view component. The whole objective of this video is to create a view component for uploading images. Like partial views, view components also should be stored inside the shared folder inside the views folder. So, create a folder named components inside the views/shared folder. Inside the components folder, create a folder named image uploader. And then we need to create a class file. This class file should have a suffix as view component. So add a class file and name it as image uploader view component.cs. And then open the image uploader view component.cs and include the microsoft.aspnetcore.mvc in the using section. View components are present in this library. So we must include microsoft.aspnetcore.mvc namespace in the using section. Then the view component class should inherit from the view component base class. So inherit the image uploader view component class from the view component base class. Then add a public empty constructor. This is very important line. If you forgot to create a constructor, then you may get a runtime error at the time of calling the view component. Then add the invoke method to the view component. View component must have either invoke method or invoke async method. Here we are using the invoke method. Then the important point here to notice is it is returning a view named default and the model is received as a parameter. Here the model is of type string and we are going to get the property name from the caller view. View component should have one or more views in it. Create an empty razor view file inside the image uploader directory and name the view file as default.cshtml. Then delete all the content from the default.cshtml and add the model as string to the default.cshtml. Then open the create.cshtml file inside the product folder. Then after cut the div which contains the image uploading code and then paste the code to the default.cshtml. In the default.cshtml, change the word front image to @model as shown because this is the view file inside the view component. View components are shared and they are common. We can use this component anywhere in our project and we do not know the property for which the component is going to be used. So the property name will be passed as a model by the main view component in which this component is going to be nested. And then if you are using view components in the project, then you must add the tag helpers for the view component by adding your project name in the view imports.cshtml. This is a very important line and if you forgot to add this line, then your view component will fail to load. Then add the view component in the create.cshtml as shown. Notice here our image uploader becomes image-uploader and also notice I and U becomes small letter and we are passing name of our front image property of the model to the view component. Let's run the application. Oops, error. No worries, error comes to get fixed. This error comes because we are passing only the property name to the view component and the validation creator fails here. So comment the line which was creating the error. Instead, Add the HTML.validation message as shown and run the application now. Wow, now the view component is loaded, but the browse button is not working. Why? Let's check our code. Since we are only passing the property name to the view component, the view component generates the default text box. So we have to add attribute type equals to file, then save and run the application. Now the image component is loaded properly and we are able to select the images, and the preview of the image is also shown. Let's create a product. We have selected a blue shirt image, then enter the required product details and then press the create button. Yes, the product is created, but this time the product is created using the view component. The images are uploaded using the image view component. I want to move the jQuery script to the default.cshtml of the view component. This is the script which is used to display the name of the selected file. Okay, now the script is moved to the view component file. Let's run the application. Upload an image. Notice the choose to file text box is not changed. That means the script is not working anymore because jQuery scripts are not working in the view components. Comment the not working jQuery script. We don't need it anymore. Add a label and name it as model-size. In here, we are going to display the size of the selected file. Add this JavaScript function to the default.cshtml of the view component. Only jQuery has trouble executing inside the view components, but our old friend traditional JavaScript does not have any limitation. It can execute and run anywhere in the project. It can run in view components also. This function is little tricky. We are using the pure JavaScript function to attach the code to the event handler, but the method inside the event handler still uses the jQuery. Please pause and copy this function. Let's run the application and select the image file. Wow, now the size and name of the selected image file is displayed properly. I told you, right, I am going to have two images in the product, one for the front image and other for the back view, but we have not created the back image property yet. So open the product.cs model and add the property named as back image URL of type string. This back image URL is optional and will be stored in the table. Then add one more property of type iform file and name it as back image. This property is not mapped to the table and it will not be get saved to the table. This property is only to receive the uploaded file from the web page. Now let's run the add migration command in the package manager console and then run the update database command to update the migration to the database. Open the create.cshtml inside the product folder and copy the view component tag div of the front image and paste it below. Then change the field name attribute of the pasted view component to name of model.backImage as shown. Now two image components are loaded, one for the front image and the other for the back image. The front image component is working fine, but when we select the image, the size label for both the components are updated to the same size. This is buggy. And also when we select the image of the back image component, the selected image is displayed to the front image only. So we have made some mistake in the code. Let's fix it. To fix this issue, first we need to change the ID of the file input to at model-image and then change the ID of the preview image tag to model-image PRV. Then change the front image PRV inside the single line on change event to model-image PRV. And then we also need to alter the JavaScript. Initially we were searching by class name to attach the onChange event to the file input, which is a very bad idea. Now we know the ID of our file input, so this time we will get the element by ID and attach the event listener only to that particular element as shown, otherwise the script is same. Okay, now both the image components are working fine, but it is little complicated topic. But once you understand the core part, you can easily convert anything to view components. In fact, you can compile this view component as a separate library and you can share the components among the other projects. That's great. Hey, I guess I deserve to be subscribed. So please subscribe and share. Now we need to add a method in our product controller to receive this back image file. This is so simple, just we need to copy the method uploaded file and paste it below. Then change the method name to get back image file and inside the method change all occurrences of the word front image to back image. And then we also need to modify the HTTP post create method. Declare a variable as back file name and assign it to the return string of the method get back file name of product. Then after assign the product.backimage URL equals to back file name. That's it. Now save and run the application. Let's create a new product. Enter all the required details and select both front and back image. Then after press the create button. The product is saved, but in the index page only the front image is displayed. So we will alter the index page to display the back image also. Add the model.backimage also in the TD tag and let's run the application now. Okay, now the back image is also displayed. That's it, our image components are working fine. With this, I am completing this video. Before I sign off, I request you to subscribe and share this video. I would appreciate if you'd like and subscribe to this channel so that you will be notified for all of the new videos that I will be posting. Thank you and bye for now.